All right, folks. So in this, what I'm going to do is go over my workflow where I scrape public notices here in South Carolina. The notices. So the way public notices work, it's publications. So let's start from the beginning. So let's say a county is going to go and foreclose on a house. They have to they have to publish on local newspapers, hey, we're getting ready to auction off this house. If you have any interest in it, if it's your house, or if you owe, if you lent against the house, show up, let us know, um, so we can sort you out, right? They also do this for taxes, delinquent taxes every year. If you don't pay your taxes, they send you a bunch of letters to the house, and if you don't respond or if you don't pay the taxes, then maybe they assume that, hey, maybe they're not getting the letters, so they advertise in the local newspaper, hey, we're getting ready to sell, this house at auction. So if you own it, or if you've got some interest in it, like you've lent money against it, you know, here's your heads up, come by, pay the taxes so you don't lose it. So the counties do this regularly. Every day they publish some kind of legal notice. Now they do it for, as I mentioned, delinquent tax sales. They do it for foreclosures. They do it for probate. So when you pass away, they start to hit up all your creditors. Hey, anybody who has interest in this estate, come by the courthouse so we can sort it out. They do it for storage units. If you don't pay for your storage unit, the county, uh, the storage unit people probably petition the county, and then from there they gotta go ahead and they go ahead and they auction off. And we've all seen the TV shows where they hold an auction, the highest bidder gets access to that unit, and then they can go in there and they whatever's in there is theirs. So they go through these notices. So I built this workflow right now because I'm interested in um, foreclosure filings and also probate filings. Now, there are data aggregators that have this information, but what I've found, right, because I've been investing now in real estate for a few years, what I found is that websites like PropStream or Property Radar or, Batch Leads, whatever, these data aggregators, they're not getting data every single day for every single county across every single channel. They're not getting delinquent tax stuff every day. They're not getting foreclosures every day. They're not getting eviction stuff every day. Whatever. They're not getting that every single day. Sometimes it takes a month or two or three, or whenever they update it, whenever they get around to it, they finally update it. So my logic was, look, I like primary sources. When it comes to delinquent tax data, I like the primary source. Go to the county website and find the delinquent taxpayers there, right? Um, Almost every county in South Carolina, there's probably like two or three that don't, but every other county has the information online. You don't have to go there, you don't have to call anybody. You may have to pay $5, $10 for access, and that is also maybe two or three counties that have that. But for the most part, the information's free. You just got to look for it. So I like primary sources, and I was, racking my brain. How can I find this foreclosure information directly from the source? How can I find probate information directly from the source? And as I was doing my Google research, and maybe some of you are already aware of this, maybe some are not, and this will be news to you. But in South Carolina, like I said, these counties need to publish notice on a local newspaper. Well, the press got together here in South Carolina and said, look, let's create a central repository where we publish all these notices. We publish them all in one spot, right? And this way, we're not all having to build our own system, whatever, whatever. We can all just post all our public notices on this one spot, and our liability, our requirement, it's probably less expensive for counties. They can just go ahead and publish these in this one central repository, and it's easy and streamlined for the county and for people like us who are interested in these public notices. So the website is so South Carolina, scpublicnotices.com, and it's free. You can go on there and search for notices yourself at no cost. But there's also paid tiers, and it can be expensive. 1 month subscription is $50. A 6 month is $120, and I forget what the annual subscription is, but probably a bigger savings if you do a 12-month subscription. Why you would pay for a subscription if the website is, for the most part, free, is that with a subscription, you get emails sent to your inbox, not of the notices, but a link that it lets you organize notices by, by county, for example, by time frames, and some other criteria. So I paid for the subscription because I had to plug it into my workflow, which I'm going to go through now here shortly. But the website is a great repository if you're looking for foreclosure notices that have been filed over the years, yesterday, 30 days back. You can set the time frame, and like I said, it's free. The website is an old looking website, but it is, when it comes to automating the website, it's very difficult because there are a lot of captchas and a lot of anti-scraping mechanisms running on the website. So you need to kind of figure out the workflow, which I did. Now I'm going to go over the workflow here today, but I'm not going to go over it in super fine detail. But I just want to share with you what is actually possible with these type of workflows. All right, so we'll go into it now. So here's the workflow. It's on a scheduled trigger. Every 20 minutes, this workflow checks my email for emails from scpublicnotices.com. So it's looking specifically for emails. So this every 20 minutes it checks. This here is the node. Well, let me call a timeout. So this website that I'm working on is N8N. It is an automation website. So you can set these different nodes to do different actions for you, okay? There's other websites that provide this. Zapier is one. N8N, I'm using this one specifically because you can host it on your own computer or on a server, and you get full capability for free. If you host an instance of N8N on their cloud, it'll be $20 a month. Zapier has a similar plan where you host it on their stuff and it's $20 a month. But the added benefit of doing it on your own computer is that you could also run code, right? And in this case, I have to run code because I had to build out a scraping tool that actually goes to the website, opens, the notices, scrapes the information from the notices, and puts them on Google Sheets and things like that. So I had to run a program like that. And so if you plan on doing something like that, like if you wanted to do an example of this, you would, as far as I understand it, you would need to host this on your computer. Um, with that, so yeah, so just understand that. All right, so the schedule, every 20 minutes, it checks my website. So this triggers this node here, which is a Gmail node. This node, what it does is it checks my Gmail and it gets all the emails that may have came in from scpublicnotices.com. If I get 50 emails from them, this node here splits out the URL for the URL that is for the searches that comes in that email. So when you get an email, there's a link on there that will direct you to that specific set of notices. And that's what this split out does. So then from here, I get, I've split out all the emails. This node here gets individual emails. I extract the content in that email with this node, and again, extract the URL. This then goes down to a loop process. So if I have 50 emails, what a loop does it'll send just one of the 50 to go ahead and accomplish all these steps, right? So let's say we get 50. This sends out one of those 50 in a loop, and it goes here to this command. And what this command does, it goes to the website, right? Um, Based off of the one link that is sent through here. Let's say the link is for York County foreclosures. This will go to the York County foreclosures link, and it will give me back what it does. It will save every notice and put it in a folder for me on the website. This then goes and looks at, okay, it says, all right, were there any notices scraped here? Was this node able to scrape any notices? If the answer is no, then it deletes the empty search. If the answer is yes, I was able to find notices, then it runs to this if statement here. This second if statement says, okay, was this a foreclosure search or a probate search? All right, so let's say in this case, we said we're doing York County foreclosures. This would read that this was a foreclosure search, and it will fork off into into the foreclosure workflow here. You see, there's a similar workflow for probate. So had it been probate, it would have shot down here. All right, so it shoots over to foreclosure. What this does is this code bracket here gets the amount of notices. So this would have done the search, and let's say it found 10 notices. This is tasked with identifying how many notices this node found. So let's say it found 10 notices, and it lets the program know, hey, you're gonna have to do this 10 times. Okay, so this new loop, what this new loop does, it sends, so say 10 notices, it sends an individual notice to this command, which opens up a separate program on my computer. And what this program does is it goes to the folder, looks at individual notices, okay? It copies the information in that notice and then sends it to this foreclosure extractor node. What this foreclosure extractor node does is paired up with an AI. It reads the entire notice, and what it does is it finds information like the defendant's name. It finds property information, so tax map and parcel IDs. And we give it directions like extract tax map parcel IDs or TMS numbers. It'll find the case number, and you instruct it, extract the case number. Real property information, the address. Here, the complete address of the property being foreclosed on. So you got to give it these specific instructions. All right, the AI reads the notice, figures out, okay, this is all the information you're looking for, and then it sends it to a Google Sheet. All right, and it does this for each individual notice. So it loops it, does one notice, and we said we had 10, it does it 9 more times after that. Once it's done, it deletes the email, okay? And this is the workflow. So if we have 50 emails, it does that 50 times. If if each link has 10 emails or 10 notices in it, then for each instance, it runs this 10 times. So it's called a nested loop. So it's a loop within a loop. Once it's done all the loops, once it's researched all the notices, then the loop defaults back home. And then from here, we go to it deletes all the emails from my inbox, and then it goes to the Google Sheets. And what it does is starts to delete any duplicates if there are any duplicates involved. So look, um, I know I didn't go into really big detail on this one here. If anybody's interested in looking at specifics, I may do a video where I will do like a deep dive on here's the nodes, here's how you set up the APIs, here's how you write the code. But this is a time saver, particularly because of the AIs involved in it. It can read these notices and extract certain information from these notices that really wasn't possible with computer programs before. Um, because of AI, you can create a more flexible program. Um, and so it's been helpful. What I like to do is once we have this information, is I like to send letters, and I'll send handwritten letters to these folks asking them if they're interested in selling, whatever property they might own.